Once upon a time, in a land known as the natural state,
Great. So very interesting to hear about the need for improvement in the way our seminar series and our workshop series are viewed by students. I agree with that 100%, that these are really important areas that we are studying in those two functions that aren't covered in classes, but are really the difference between getting a job and not getting a job, or being successful in your career early on and not being successful. And the problem is that I think many students don't have that background or that impression that that's how important they are, because it's not something that's difficult to understand. It's just difficult to do, and it creates you have to create a habit to do it, not just study an equation or do a problem, solve a problem. So the seminars and the workshops, we see as you all pointed out, a real problem in attendance and a real problem in coming in late, and sometimes in the way students prepare for the seminar and workshops, and even doing other things during those seminars and workshops. And when I've given seminars, I've seen students that I could tell were not listening at all, and either falling asleep or trying to sneak a peek at their phones throughout the seminar. So I think the key, which you all have identified, is consequences. I think there has to be a consequence. We have the kind of the carrot of getting a degree. We need a consequence of what if you do this improperly? What if you are in some way consistently late, or consistently not paying attention, etc. So I really like the idea of, if you are late, you have to write up something. I think you all pointed out, write up a summary of the seminar, or if you don't make it, you have to write up a summary, and you get docked a workshop point or a seminar point. I think that's a very reasonable way to treat this, and I think what we need to do at the beginning of each semester is explain why that's the case, that we really are doing this kind of for your own good, and that will make sure that people, even though they're not going to like it and they're not going to appreciate it, I think, for a long time, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years from now, when they realize they've gotten the skills to do well in the job, I think they'll really appreciate it, and will understand that this was in their best interest to do.
I really think it's a great idea to take off some of your credits, or make the students do some additional work in case they cancel workshops, because I think there are a lot of us who really want to get into some of the workshops, and just because it's kind of full, we never get a chance.
I think it's a great idea to have an orientation with the domestic students too, because this time we never got to meet any of them. We just met them during our classrooms, and probably got to only those people who are in our groups. So it would be a great idea to actually mingle with them in the beginning itself, so that we have a feeling of the entire domestic community over there.
Although Duke's faculty, especially in the BME department, they're exceptional and they're really smart in their areas, a lot of the coursework is directly tailored to their research interests that don't necessarily align exceptionally well with the MEng purpose and being able to take our technical degrees and apply them into industry. So maybe tailoring classes that are very technical and related to faculty's course research interests will be able to coincide with MEng purpose and MEng ideals as to how to apply technical skills into industry as we start our careers.
I think something that a lot of MEng students could benefit from is a little more regular guidance with advisors or faculty or something like that, especially in their areas, because I think one of the big reasons that students in the MEng program decide to be in MEng is because they want more of that industry preparation, and maybe they don't know how to go about getting internships or positions that they want. So I think a little bit more guidance would be really helpful.
So I'm super excited to hear about your recommendations relative to curriculum. I think that the idea of having students plan before they arrive is fantastic. My thought would be planning as a framework versus as a prescriptive way of moving through the program. We often have students who show up and they want to know exactly what classes to take that are going to perfectly yield the career outcomes they're looking for. They want to get a 4.0. They want to make sure that they can optimize their Duke experience. And sometimes life is a bit more nimble. And so I love the idea of a planning sheet that would allow students to think about the elements of their story and how they might craft their story during their time at Duke. But I would also love to and I don't know if it's philosophically, I don't know how we quite frame it, but really encourage students to explore and learn while they're here at Duke. Students may learn about a topic that they didn't know about before. They may read a case study that really inspires them to explore certain types of solutions or certain types of job roles. They may connect with alumni who are doing things that they never imagined they could do before. And so if you're too prescriptive, you miss it on the opportunity to be nimble and to grow in those ways, but also to explore those opportunities. I would imagine if you asked many alums, did you know you'd end up in this role when you accepted your first position right out of Duke, or do you know that you'd be where you are now 10 years down the road, they would say no. And so part of that is being open-minded, prepared, but open-minded. And so while planning, I think, is absolutely key, I do think it's important for students to be open-minded about how they can add things to their toolkit. Courses are a fantastic way to do that, but there are lots of experiential ways that students can grow too. But just thanks so much for all of your work as a team and your focus on helping to make our programs the best that they can be. I hope that you've had fun, and we really value and appreciate your input.